All right, just first of all, just want to put out thoughts and prayers to University of Virginia football team and that whole community there. When I found out yesterday, details started to come out, and just heartbreaking is the one word I would say that describe it. It's what a tragedy that is, and I really feel for Tony Elliott and the staff and everybody associated with that. That's an extremely difficult situation for everybody to deal with, particularly on that campus, but really everywhere. And it affects. If you're a football player and you saw that, it affects you, and I'm sure our kids when the news came out, it affected them in a way, and it just puts life into perspective. That life is so much more important in football or anything else that we're doing, and especially for these young people. So just really sad situation. We plan on putting a helmet sticker to honor those guys of that program on our helmet this week, and we got a player that was Anthony Johnson that was here that's there now, and he's devastated. So. But yeah, just really feel for those guys. But get to the game, Clemson game, tough, hard-fought game. Proud of the way our players went out and played extremely hard, gave their all the way to the very end. We certainly had chances and opportunities in that game to seize control of the game there in the second half. Our defense kept playing their butts off, getting the ball for us offensively. We didn't do anything with it. We're certainly trying our best and trying to fight for yards and just couldn't get it down there. He didn't make enough plays. Clemson's got a good football team. We said that last week. Everybody wanted to write them off after the Notre Dame game, but they got a ton of talent. Great environment there at Clemson. Great, over 80,000 people there in the stadium and loud, and certainly a home field advantage there for them. Great atmosphere, and we didn't make enough plays, bottom line. We didn't make enough plays, and they did. We got to find ways to move the ball and score points. And, I knew tackling was going to be a thing. We didn't tackle great, I didn't think, on their backs. They run hard. A lot of respect for their running backs, and Shipley in particular, just how tough he is. But I think for us, get back here Sunday, put that one to bed, and move on to NC State, another really good football team, and an excellent defense. Kind of been led by their defense this year. A ton of experience back. 3 best linebackers, probably combination maybe in the country, with their 3 linebackers. Extremely productive linebackers, and they do everything. They from interceptions to sacks, tackles for loss. They're running all over the field. Very impressed about their linebackers. Offensively. Lost their quarterback, and they've played a couple of other guys. I think the one they settled on with has come in. M.J. Morris played well, and gives them a chance. He's a freshman. He's young, still learning how to play the game, but certainly gives them a chance. He can run and throw. And, for us this week, a senior day, last opportunity for these seniors to play in Cardinal Stadium. And, we want to send them out on a high note, something they'll remember forever. We want to obviously get a win. You're guaranteed a winning season. You get this win, 7 wins. It's big. And an opportunity to go out and win our last ACC game this year. And so there's a lot riding on the game. We want to finish the season strong, and in particular, against this team, NC State. We have not faced NC. I haven't faced NC State here since we've been here. COVID kind of threw us off that year, so it's the first time that we've had them up here. We're excited about this opportunity, ready to go play. Guys are eager, they're hungry to continue to go out and compete and practice, and we'll have a great practice this afternoon, so we're looking forward to it.
Can you kind of talk about the senior class a little bit more and what they've meant? And it seems like it's a pretty large group of guys that you're going to be honoring on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a good group, man. It's you know, and it's kind of odd because it's I feel like there's like three different classes probably within this class. I mean, with the COVID, you know, you got the guys that's been here, you know, like Malik that's been here forever, and Caleb Chandler, and those guys that's been here for a long, long time. Yasir, you know, and really, I got a special place in my heart for those guys because they've been through so much in the period of time since they've been here. As much as any class that's probably ever been through anything, really. I mean, they've been through coaching changes. They've been through, you know, the COVID situation for 2 years, getting another year. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that's crazy that's never happened, really. And what they've meant to us just as people, too. I mean, you know, we've been around them a long time now. And, you know, you're certainly going to miss those guys. You spend so much time with them here, not only during the season, but in the off season and all, you know. And so really going to miss those guys. You know, and then the other guys, too, that hadn't been here as long but have meant a lot to our program. The fight that they've shown to the time that we've been here, a lot of adversity they've been through, and to be able to come through that and to fight through it and get on the other side of that's what I'm most proud of with this group. And that's why we want to finish strong also. That's why we want to win these last two games and come out with a really nice season in one of the more difficult schedules that we've had in Louisville football. And these guys to be able to be a part of that is something they'll remember forever. And you know, we're certainly going to miss them. But again, I want them to have great memories when they leave Louisville. And part of that is to go out here and win these games because that's what they'll remember.
Coach, what's Malik's status? Do you expect him to play this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, Malik's day-to-day. I mean, you know, we saw, you know, he went out and right the last play before half and kind of landed on his shoulder, kind of dinged that whole area around there. I don't really know specifics of the injury, but I really just kind of bruising around the shoulder. And, you know, so he's kind of going to be day-to-day. I mean, he's been over here, you know, all day Sunday, Monday, and, you know, today, and just working, trying to get better, trying to get out there. And so, you know, as we go throughout the week, we'll have a better idea of where he's at. But today I'd list him as day-to-day.
What about, you said his shoulder, what about his arm? Is that very limiting or?
Well, I mean
his hand, I'm sorry. Yeah.
His hand, well, it's
the left hand. Yeah.
Yeah, the non-throwing hand. I mean, it's a little limited as far as, you know, there's a little discomfort there. But I mean, you certainly can go out and play and not really affect how you're going to play the game. I mean, he still ran around, still tried to make plays. You know, I think in the game it was 10 for 13 throwing. You know, against a really good defense. I mean, Clemson's one of the top defenses in the country, and their D-line and linebackers are very talented. And for him to go out there and play the way he did, I thought he went out there and played well. It's just a really good defense, you know. And, you know, now, you know, with the right shoulder, which is his throwing arm, so, you know, he's going to have to get that healthy so he can throw, you know, obviously. So, so again, we'll see how quickly that can heal up and if he's available or not for Saturday.
Scott, in terms of Malik and his health, I mean, what has he meant since he came back from the concussion? I mean, the things that he's doing, you feel like he's being smarter with his body? I mean, you can't help, you know, some dings, but how is he different, and how has that helped?
Yeah, I mean, I think he has tried to be a lot smarter when running the football, and you can kind of notice that in the last several games where get toward the sideline, let's get out of bounds, let's don't take an unnecessary hit. You know, same time he's a competitor. He likes to get those extra yards. You know, he's a tough guy. You know, I think. You know, obviously he's played a lot of football over the last 5 years and taken a lot of hits and a lot of shots. And some of the shots he takes, a lot of times we don't even notice because he just threw the ball and we're all looking at the ball and that guy's laying on the ground because he just got another hit, you know. And for him to get back up and to keep playing. But I do think the last several weeks he has been a lot smarter running. Hey, get down when you need to get down and get out of bounds and don't take those unnecessary hits. And because he is a big threat even when he doesn't run, because they have to account for it. You know, they have to set their defense up to know, hey, that daggone Cunningham, he can take the ball down on the backside and he can be gone, so we better have a guy back here. You know, so there is value even when he doesn't run, just for the threat of the run. And, you know, and I think teams, you know, they certainly have to guard against that. But, yeah, we want him to be smart. I mean, don't take unnecessary hits. Get down when you need to and get out of bounds. And, you know, let's let these other guys, you know, take the shots.
I guess, Scott, you know, obviously if Brock has to go, he's, you know, played a lot this season. I guess just from, the first time he's stepped on campus, what have you just seen from him, and how does his background and, having started at previous schools and having some success there just really affect, or just factor into the kind of person he is?
Yeah. Well, I mentioned this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. He's got a lot of confidence. I mean, he's got a lot of confidence in his ability. I think when he goes out and he makes plays, it just increases that. I mean, I thought he did a lot of really nice things the other night against Clemson. Again, a really, really good defense. And, he's got guys breathing down his throat there, and he's still standing in there making those throws. I think that gives him confidence to know, hey, listen, when I got a plan of knowing how to attack this defense with this particular play, he's really, really good. And that's one of the things he told me after the game. I said, I feel really good when I understand the play and got a good plan for it. And, so for us as coaches, hey, we got to put together a plan for him that he feels really good about and confident to make those plays. I think the more he plays, the better he feels. And so you mentioned, I mean, he's played a lot over the last several games and gone out and made a lot of great plays for us. He's becoming more and more confident with the offense, having gone through the spring, the summer, and and then as he's going out and played some games. I think we have confidence in him, and I think the receivers do too. I think they know, hey, get open. He's going to throw us a ball where we got a great chance to make the play. I think we saw that in the second half last week. I mean, T. Huddy made some great catches on the outside, but Brock gave him a chance. He threw it in a place where they got an opportunity to catch it, and I think that's what we want as a quarterback, from our quarterback position. Hey, give them a chance to make plays, and like a guy like T.O. is going to come down with it and make those plays. I think another great example is what he did in the game where we throw a touchdown to T. Huddy. They knocked that off the books. He hits Braden right wide open, and it kind of got in the lights, and he doesn't catch it. He still stood in there and threw a touchdown pass, right after that. So, he's just I'm really pleased with the way he's been playing, and we got to do a great job as coaches to find ways for him to be able to move the ball if he's going to be playing.
Scott, you mentioned that Malik got hurt on the last play of the first half. The announcers were pretty critical about having him in with 2 seconds to go, and what they said was very little chance of scoring. What were your thoughts on when you did have him in the game at that point, and or you have any second thoughts about that?
Yeah, we're trying to score. We're just trying to score. I mean, we're trying to win the game. And, we felt Malik gave us the best chance to try to go win. I mean, that's the bottom line. Matter of fact, when he took off running, I thought he was getting ready to score. Like, we get another block right there. He kind of started stumbling, but if he keeps his feet and gets a block, he's got an opportunity to score. Maybe change the game. I mean, I don't know. I will never second guess that. I mean, we're trying to win at all costs. And, go to Malik and tell him you're coming out. You're not going to play this play. See what he tells you. I mean, he's trying to win. I mean, he's going to play. I mean, so we're going to give ourselves the best chance to go win the game, and that's there's no thought on that.
Scott, I think it was the first time all year you've just used, I think, the same 5 guys up front. Was that obviously Luke not being all the way back, but kind of injury related, and you like to rotate to keep them fresh? Do you anticipate kind of going back to that?
I really and truly, you mentioned the guys up front, but that happened in a lot of positions where we didn't play as many guys in this game, and I think Clemson had a lot to do with that. I mean, they're really talented. I mean, they're a really talented team, and guys that were out there, they kind of they're in the flow of it, a feel for it. You put a guy in there who maybe hasn't been in the game, and the size, the speed, you don't want to have a negative play. I mean, we're trying to fight for every, to the point of his quote, we're trying to fight for every play. Like, every play matters, and we're trying to do the best we possibly can to make some plays. So we don't like to do that. I mean, hopefully this week we'll be able to get some more rotation, and I'm saying a lot of positions, but get more rotation, get more guys in, because you do get wore down. I felt we were a little tired there in the fourth quarter, and that's us trying to keep our guys in there to try to go win. So, but yeah, I mean, I think we'd like to be able to rotate more, and hopefully this week we got to get, as coaches sometimes you get just locked in on that. We can't take my guy out, but we got to just do it, and just even if it's for 6 or 7 to 8 plays, let's get some rotation. Yeah, I mean, Luke's going to practice today. Hopefully, he'll be back this week. So he's going to go through practice at a limited basis, but we're putting him in. He's, go with the offense. I think he's really, really close, and hopefully he'll be able to play this week.
Scott, there were some questionable calls, non-calls in the game against Clemson. Does your mindset change a little bit after reviewing that film, and was there any communication to the league on some of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I feel like we have this conversation every week, but you know, and it's frustrating. I mean, it really is. And but you guys, you know, I saw there's a bunch of stuff circulating out there. I've seen still shots. I've seen videos of things, and I think, you know, there's enough out there for everybody to see, and they can get their opinion on that. And you know, I'm really not going to speak on it, you know, because it really doesn't do any good, and, you know, to speak on it in the public, you know. But we certainly turn our plays in every week. We get our feedback on it. You know, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. And the biggest thing to me that's frustrating is because our kids are playing their butts off, and all of a sudden you get a call that maybe, you know, probably shouldn't have been called, and, you know, what do you tell them? You know, to me, that's the hardest thing that I have to deal with. You know, go to our players and say, hey, just keep playing. Just keep playing. We can't control that. You can control how you play. And that's the part that's so frustrating. But, hey, all we can do is keep playing and go out there and try to make enough plays to go win.
Yeah, Yasir's had a tremendous year, probably all-conference type player. Can you talk about his development since you first started coaching him, and what makes him the player he is, and also where does he project as a professional player?
Yeah, I mean, number one, great human being. Love Yasir. He comes to work every day. He's an extremely hard-working guy, and that's why he's continued to get better and better each and every year because of that. Now, you know, I always tell freshmen when they get here, where you are right now is not where you want to be. You know, you got to keep getting better every single day, and he's done that. I mean, I remember when we first got here, he couldn't play more than 12 snaps. He would go from full tank to empty like really, really quickly, and we just had to get him out. You know, he was a special teams guy early on, and just worked his way into what he is now, a really relentless player. You know, pass rushing, but also just running plays down from behind. Very smart player. You don't ever have to worry about Yasir. He's going to be where he's supposed to be and do what he's supposed to do. He's a big time playmaker. You know, and I think he's got a bright future. I mean, in the NFL, you know, there's going to be spots for him because he's going to be a team's guy for wherever he's at. And he's probably going to be a guy who can put in for third down for pass rushing, but he also can drop into coverage. So, you know, I think he's got a great opportunity to be able to have a big impact at the next level. But let's finish it out first, Yasir, in the next couple of games.
Scott, I know you said Malik was day to day, and he's been over here getting a ton of treatment. Do you anticipate him trying to practice at all this week, or is it just try to get healthy and see if you can go on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I think if he's healthy enough to practice, he'll go out and practice. I think, you know, for him, it's he wants to play, he wants to finish it out, and you know, so again, we'll take it day by day. We'll see where he's at. If he's healthy enough to play, he'll play. You know, if he's not, then Brock will go play. You know, so that's the way we've done it always, and we'll continue to do it that way, and we'll see where he's at. But you know, I know he wants to play. He wants to be out there with his teammates. All right, thanks, guys.
Before I take any questions, just want to start by saying our thoughts and prayers are with those that are affected by the tragic events that happened with the Virginia football team, University of Virginia, their coaches and players, and really a devastating act of violence. And all words can't express how I feel, because all I can think about is how close and what a relationship we build with our players, and they become family with us. And so, you know, again, our thoughts and prayers go out to those young men who were involved in the incident, their families, and all those who were affected.
Lance, when you look at, as Coach was talking about, I don't know if you heard him talking about, you know, putting a game plan together for Brock and making sure he's comfortable in case Malik doesn't isn't able to go. How difficult is that in a week when you don't know and you almost, it's kind of the same game plan, but it is tweaked a little differently for Brock?
Yeah, I think our mindset and mentality from as a coaching staff and how we want to attack and putting together a game plan stays the same. Brock has done a great job when he's been called upon in games, whether he's come in, you know, in the middle of a game or, you know, when he started the Virginia game. And so really, you know, we're able to keep the same same thoughts, same ideas. He's different than Malik, but still does a great job of running our offense and everything that we ask him to do, even as as a runner.
Scott was highlighted the 3 linebackers that NC State has that really fuels their defense. When you look at them on tape, what do you see, and how much of a challenge do you think they're going to be for whoever's at quarterback?
Yeah, this is a great challenge for us this week. I mean, NC State is a great team, but defensively, really good football team. Ranked in the top 10 nationally. For the last 3 weeks, we again faced a top 10 defense, and they run to the football. They are well coached. They're disciplined. They are aggressive. They attack. They make everything hard. Run game, pass game. They've got a ton of veterans, ton of experience. They play their scheme really well, and they disguise everything that they do. They mix up their coverages. They play a ton of different coverages on the back end. They bring pressure with their front and backers, but their backers are really good players and play their scheme really well. So we've got a great test in front of us. I know our guys are excited about the challenge. I know, talking to our guys after the game, obviously disappointed with our performance and not scoring enough points, not being consistent enough in the Clemson game, not playing up to our standard, and really the standard that we had started to set, over the last 4 games. But really excited about, a new opportunity this week to go out and prove, that we're a good offense and we can be consistent.
Lance, given that Brock did start the game at UVA, played a solid half at Clemson, has been in sparingly throughout the year, how much more confident or how much easier does it make it from your guys' perspective from game planning and preparation, knowing that you have a solid sample size to work with to kind of judge on what works and what doesn't work when he's under center?
Yeah, I think it gives us a ton of confidence as a coaching staff, but it also gives his teammates a ton of confidence. I know just talking to the receivers and tight ends and even O-linemen, they're confident when Brock goes in the game because of what he did in the Virginia game. And, that was his first, real sample size and, a full game. But we were confident going into the Virginia game because of how he had prepared and he had won the job, coming out of training camp. And that was a product of how he prepares and also his performance. And so again, he won that backup job because of how he performed. And so he maximized his opportunity when he got it in the Virginia game. But it absolutely gives us confidence moving forward, knowing that he is going to go in and the lights aren't going to be too bright. He's going to be able to execute the offense. It is different in game situations, and so I think that does give you confidence, and you feel like from a game planning standpoint, you can put everything on his plate.
You mentioned NC State's linebackers. Obviously, Clemson had a really good group too. Mm-hmm. How does seeing maybe them kind of help you prepare for another group that was, I think, at one point considered like one of the best in the country?
Yeah, I think when you go against great competition, you're tested and you see where you need to be better. And I think that's one of the things that the Clemson game showed us. We were playing at a really high level and had done some really good things and scored. We're playing really consistently for the previous 4 games. And in the Clemson game, we didn't hold our standard. And we weren't efficient on first and second down. We weren't very good on third downs. And then in the red zone, we didn't score points. We get down to the 3-yard line and have to kick a field goal, and just did not. We had some nice plays, some good drives. We answered after we went down 10-0. We had a 7-play drive, went down and scored to make it 10-7, but just was not consistent enough.
Lance, what does that tell you about Brock the end of the game when the touchdown to T. Huddy was taken back? Then he throws the one to Braden, and then the touchdown at the end. What's that tell you about his mindset as a coach?
Yeah, I mean, I think he has a one-snap focus. I mean, and that's one thing that I've talked to our group about, and I talk about it almost every day. We talk about it every night or every Friday when we're in the hotel, preparing for the games. When I talk to him in our last clap session and video session before before our games on Saturday, is having that one-snap focus, being able to each play is its own life, and you can't worry about what happened in the last play. You can't worry about what the score is. You can't worry about any of the external factors, maybe a call on the field. You have to play the next play, and I think he did that. And I'm proud of our group as a whole. They fought all the way to the end. Braden, had the drop, ball got in the lights, and those the easy ones are sometimes the toughest catches. But he battled back just like our entire unit, and fought to the very end. He came back and he made a huge catch at the end, and that catch is much harder. And it's a testament to that mindset.
Good afternoon. First, I just want to, send our condolences and our thoughts and prayers, to the University of Virginia, as well as their football staff and players and family, their community, over this really, really bad tragedy. So, they have our thoughts and prayers. And if there's anything we can do, we talk to, a lot of people over there. We have some, former players. Anthony Johnson, who played for us here, is there. Talked to him last night as well as today. And then I know a couple coaches over there as well. So we're just praying for those guys and just, hoping that they can find peace, with what's going on over there right now. But just our thoughts and prayers go to those guys.
Being senior day, you've got a group on your side of the ball that have meant a lot to this program. Just kind of speak on those guys, and then maybe specifically on Yasir and what his career has been like.
Yeah, well, I start with him. Coming in here in 2019, and you got this kid that they said that can run with the best of them, and but he's a linebacker, and he's trying to figure out, is he an inside, he's an outside guy, and we put him at outside, and he just he just flourished. And he took it head on, his assignment, for him to get bigger, faster, and stronger in the weight room. And just his attitude, man, I just, enjoy his attitude each and every day. No matter the circumstances, he's hard on himself. He wants to be a perfectionist. And, I just love seeing him grow from the time we got here from 19 until now. And he's just been a tremendous part of this program. And you go to, up front, Yaya Diaby, coming in from GMC Community College, and, seeing his growth, his maturation from the time he's gotten here as well, and his leadership skills has gone through the roof since he's gotten here as well. So, and then, of course, his on-the-field performance speaks for itself. So, going to miss Yaya, then, a guy that we've had less than a year who's really turned this defense into a really special defense in Momo Sonogo. This guy is, he is exactly what you want at middle linebacker. I wish I had his butt for 4 years. He's just a great human being, number one, but also a student of the game. He probably spends more hours watching film with the football staff, with us, with his, practice from the night before, from that day, or just coming in there watching the next morning, of the opponent with us. You don't find that often, in many different universities, football programs. But he's just a great kid, a great human being. Monty, Monty's been amazing. Went through that injury last year, and I think he's kind of getting a little bit, more confident within that knee with how he's playing. So we're gonna miss him. We're gonna miss walking down the halls, or even here in the D room, him talking a little noise, here and there, being loud. It's just being money. But we're gonna miss him for sure. And then in the back end, you think about Kendrick Duncan, who's done a great deal for this program in the last year and a half. has been, great for us. And I think he'll be able to see the field this week. He's back healthy a good bit, and then you got some guys that are at corner that you don't know what's going to happen with those guys, whether it's Trey Clark, whether he goes to the NFL, or Jarvis Brownlee as well. Those guys have done a really good job for us. So going to miss those seniors. They meant a lot to us. They helped build this foundation of where we are right now. Going to 3 bowl games in 4 years since we've been here, I think that's a really good feat from where we came from, since we got here. So we're going to miss those guys, but we love them to death, and can't wait to go out and finish the season on the right note.
Coach.
Oh, and Chandler Jones. God, Almighty, how could I forget about Chandler Jones? I mean, a guy who started basically for 3 years, for us at corner, and and knows his role now because of what we're doing defensively, and has come in and stepped in and played the nickel spot as well as a safety spot, and is probably, he could really be a captain right now with the way he's leading the team. He's talking defensively. He's coming to the sideline, making adjustments, drawing things up for the guys on the board. He's like a coach, and he's not pouting because he's not playing. You don't see that a lot. This kid has accepted his role and is starring in his role really, really well. And so I'm going to miss him for sure. That's my guy, Chandler Jones. So we're going to miss him for sure.
When it comes to Yasir, we've seen him rush the passer, but the play in the Pittsburgh, that interception, did that even kind of make you stand up and be like, he's 25 yards down the field, he's running right with the guy.
Yeah, and that goes back to my first statement about Yasir, about him being able to run. I think this offseason, with some really good training, him getting ready to go to the combine, he will probably run a low 4.3, maybe a low 4.4. He can really, really run. So it did not surprise me, with him, running with the receiver, a fast receiver at that, and making a play on the ball, and that's why we as a staff, said, hey, could we do these certain type things with him, and we can. Some guys you can't because of their ability, but you can do so many different things with Yasir. He has a very, very bright future ahead of him, and he's going to do very well at the next level. But I think, these next 3 games are going to be really, really big for him to finish strong, and I think he will.
To keep it on Yasir, when he's in here talking, he's very thoughtful and kind of quiet. It's hard to hear him sometimes. When he's on the field, does he flip a switch? Is he more outspoken, or is that the way he also plays?
He's still a little quiet, Rick. He's still a little quiet, but you'll hear Yasir every now and then. He will speak up and speak his mind to the guys. But even when he makes a play, he doesn't scream, he doesn't yell. He does his little dance with Yaya. But he's very soft-spoken as well, even on the football field. He just lets his play speak for itself, and that's what you like in a coach. You want some emotion, he shows some, but he's just a quiet kid that just does his job.
Brian, how much different are they offensively with Morris at quarterback now?
A lot more quarterback run game, a lot more, and a lot more read game as well. They're still, when you think about just true handoffs to the running back, it's still the same as it was with Leary, and but a lot more quarterback run game. Passing game, is basically about the same. They want to. I think keep it simple for him and not put a whole lot on the true freshman, but he's a really good quarterback that has a really strong arm, and it's amazing some of the things he's done so far this season, being a true freshman, and so hats off to those guys for doing a great job with him.
As a quick follow-up, you guys are used to Leary throwing the ball all over the park. Your players prepare for that. Do you have to hammer that home because they've faced this team for the last couple of years and it's been the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to do a great job with this group of stopping the run, and they do a great job up front. The offensive line is a veteran group that moves really well, probably one of the most athletic groups that we've faced so far this season. So we do have to hammer home that, hey, this is not, your typical 7-on-7, with, NC State at times with certain down the distances. But, you have to stop the run. We have to do a great job with our eyes, have to do a great job with our run fits, something that we need to, clean up a little bit better than what we did this past weekend that we really done, for over the last 4 games, really stopped the run a good bit. So, yes, absolutely, we have to do that.
Brian, you mentioned having talked to Anthony a little bit about just what's going on at
Say
Virginia.
that, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, just you mentioned talking to Anthony about what's going on at Virginia and things. I'm just curious if you had a relationship with Tony Elliott from, when you guys were in the Carolinas together, and I guess just what can you say in that kind of situation?
Yeah, well, with just Anthony, I just keep it, private. He just, I just sent my condolences, and wanted to check on him first and foremost yesterday as soon as I got word to make sure he was okay. Because, myself and Anthony, I thought, we've had a great relationship, even since he's transferred. He texts and calls and FaceTimes and wants to talk with my kids, all the time. So just wanted to check on him and just make sure he was okay and send him some good words. And yes, I do know Tony personally as well. I've reached out to him, but he's, this is a tough time for those guys in the program. And, the only thing we can do, from here is just, continue to pray for them. And if it's anything else we can do, they'll let us know. Good. Thank you.